You know, you buy a pickup truck for one reason above all else, right? Dependability. But what if the toughest looking truck on the lot is actually a financial time bomb just waiting to go off? Today, we're counting down the trucks that are spectacularly failing their owners, and believe me, the results are going to surprise you.
Think about it. This is a huge decision for anyone. You're about to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a tool, something you absolutely need to trust. But as we're about to see, some of the most popular, most desirable trucks out there could be a mechanical nightmare waiting to happen. And we're not talking about some obscure niche models here. The trucks on this list, they're some of the biggest bestsellers in the country, which is what makes this whole thing so alarming. It feels like something is fundamentally changing in the world of trucks, so we really dug into the data to find out what's going on.
Now, I want to be clear. Our countdown isn't just based on our opinion. It's built from a mountain of real-world data. We're talking hundreds of thousands of owner reviews, official government complaints, and the online forums where drivers are sharing their raw, unfiltered frustrations. So let's see what that data reveals. Okay, kicking off our countdown at number 12 is a truck you see absolutely everywhere.
The Ford F-150 Power Boost Hybrid. So how on earth did America's best-selling truck end up on a worst of list? Well, it's a classic case of complexity breeding failure. Ford basically strapped a brand new, complicated hybrid system to an already, let's say, problematic transmission.
At the very heart of it is Ford's 10-speed transmission, which just continues to plague owners with these harsh, clunking, awful shifts. But the hybrid system adds a whole other layer of risk. We're seeing critical electrical modules just fail. This leaves the truck stuck in park, or way worse, flashing that terrifying "Stop safely now" message while you're on the highway.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly illustrates the reality for these owners. I mean, can you imagine your brand new $70,000 truck just completely dies with less than 5,000 miles on it? It's happening way more than you'd think. Coming in at number 11, we're moving up from the best-selling half-ton to the heavy-duty haulers. And this is where the problems get even more dangerous.
Let's face it, you buy a Ram 2500 or 3500 for total peace of mind when you're towing something heavy. Unfortunately, these models offer three very distinct paths to absolute disaster, all stemming from critical component failures.
What's really terrifying about this slide is just how severe these issues are. I mean, look at these three paths. On one hand, you have the Cummins fuel pump that can just fail without any warning, killing the engine instantly while you're towing a 10,000-pound trailer. On another, transmission fluid can leak onto hot engine parts and cause the whole thing to catch fire. And then, the main computer can just give up, turning your expensive truck into a possessed, undrivable mess.
Okay, at number 10, we have a name that, for decades, was the absolute gold standard of reliability. Well, not anymore.
This one is a real shocker. The Toyota Tundra. People buy a Tundra because they expect it to be bulletproof, right? But it seems like in a rush to innovate with a new engine, that legendary trust has been completely broken. So the core problem here is just catastrophic. Early versions of the new V6 were literally assembled with metal shavings left inside the engine block. This junk circulates in the oil and just destroys the main bearings, leading to complete engine failure. And on top of that massive issue, owners are dealing with a constant barrage of random electrical gremlins. This is not the Tundra you remember.
Next up, we have a 2-for-1 deal at numbers 9 and 8, the GM twins, the GMC Sierra and the Chevy Silverado. Look, they're joined at the hip because under the skin, they share the exact same disastrous flaws. Their flagship 6.2-liter V8s are experiencing catastrophic lifter collapse, and that same jerky 10-speed transmission we saw in the Ford? Yep, it's here too. It's literally double the trouble for GM.
All right, at number 7, we have a vehicle that, it looks like a truck, but its biggest problems reveal it's anything but.
This is the Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's essentially a car with a bed tacked onto the back, and its Achilles heel is a super complex dual-clutch transmission that simply cannot cope with being treated like a truck.
Oh man, the dual-clutch transmission in these things is an absolute nightmare. Owners report a sudden, complete loss of power on the highway. We're talking about transmissions being replaced 2, sometimes 3 times before the truck even hits 20,000 miles. It's a fundamental failure of the single most important component that makes the vehicle go.
At number 6, we have an off-road icon that's known for a particularly terrifying mechanical flaw.
The Jeep Gladiator. It combines those classic Wrangler looks with a pickup bed. But unfortunately, it also inherits Jeep's most dangerous reliability issue, a problem so infamous it has its own name.
We're talking about the death wobble, and it's exactly what it sounds like. A violent, uncontrollable shaking that honestly feels like the front end of the truck is tearing itself apart. On top of that, the V6 engine suffers from premature camshaft failure, and a faulty battery system regularly leaves owners completely stranded.
And now for number 5, the most futuristic and maybe the most unfinished truck on our list. Yeah, it was hyped as being indestructible, but the Tesla Cybertruck is proving to be surprisingly fragile in all the ways that matter most. It really reveals the risks of a vehicle that is more software than hardware. Let's just start with the recalls, shall we? The accelerator pedal can physically get stuck at full throttle. The stainless steel body, that's supposed to be bulletproof, it's showing rust and corrosion. And because the truck relies on software for literally everything, any little glitch can cause a total loss of control. It's a rolling experiment, and the buyers are the test subjects.
We are now entering the most catastrophic part of our countdown, and taking the number 4 and number 3 spots is another pair of struggling twins from General Motors.
GM's mid-sized trucks, the Canyon and the Colorado, share a lot more than just a platform. They share some of the absolute worst reliability ratings in the entire industry.
And what's so stark about this slide is just how bad it truly is. Consumer Reports gives both of these trucks a predicted reliability score of 1 out of 5. 1. That is the lowest possible rating you can get. It is a catastrophic failure by any measure, especially when you see just how far below average they are.
And you know, they really earn that score with terrifying issues like phantom braking, where the automatic emergency braking system just slams on the brakes for no reason at highway speeds. Add in systemic wiring flaws and infotainment systems that just completely die, and you have a recipe for total disaster.
Our runner-up for the worst truck you can possibly buy is a high-tech EV that highlights the ultimate risk of our new software-defined future. The Rivian R1T was supposed to be this adventurous, premium alternative to Tesla. Instead, it's becoming known for turning into a very expensive, very heavy, and very useless brick.
So what exactly does bricking mean? It means owners go to bed with a perfectly working truck and wake up to a dead one. A routine over-the-air software update or just a random electrical fault can render the vehicle completely inoperable. It's a total failure of the vehicle's brain.
And now, the number 1 worst pickup truck to buy in 2026. The vehicle that represents the single greatest gamble on the market today.
The top spot, the number 1 worst truck, goes to the new Ram 1500, specifically with its ambitious new Hurricane engine. This thing was supposed to be a revolution in powertrain tech, but it's turned into a reliability catastrophe.
This new Hurricane twin-turbo engine is at the heart of every problem. It's suffering from systemic electrical and sensor failures that kill the battery, force the truck into a low-power limp mode, and can even cause the catalytic converters to physically melt. Dealers are completely overwhelmed, often just replacing parts without fixing the root cause, leaving owners trapped in a cycle of endless, frustrating repairs.
So let's just recap the whole mess. What we've seen here is a clear pattern. From Ford's faulty transmissions and GM's self-destructing V8s to EVs that can be completely disabled by a software update, this isn't just a few bad apples. It's a huge warning sign that some of the biggest names in trucking are failing in the most fundamental ways.
And that leaves us with one critical question, doesn't it? With all this new technology, hybrid systems, software-controlled everything, ambitious new engines all designed to chase performance and efficiency, are we sacrificing the one thing that made trucks great in the first place? That rock-solid dependability. It's definitely something to think about.